You're listening to Popcorn in Orbit, a podcast for sci-fi lovers of all galaxies, hosted by filmmakers Jeremy Major and Ian P. Causer.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You've got Jeremy here in Canada, Ian in the UK. How are you doing, Ian?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, fun topic today that was inspired by a previous episode. And I'll just say that if people haven't heard the episode about posters, they might want to revisit that. We talked about how to make a great poster, and we spoke with John Godfrey, who is a movie poster designer. He's really incredible, very prolific. And so that led to today's topic.
Well, what it did was after we interviewed John, it got me thinking about what are my all-time favorite posters, because as you can see, Jay, although the listeners can't, my study is covered in movie posters. In fact,
it's like wallpaper back there.
Yeah, it is. I don't really own art, but I because I know nothing about it, but I know what I love, and what I love is great movie posters. I was thinking, what are my top 5? And then I want to know what your top 5 were. And then all of a sudden you've got yourself a podcast episode. So we're going to be discussing our personal favorite posters, why they mean so much to us.
That's right. And I think it was great hearing from John just about how much goes into it, how much thought and care, and how deliberate every element is. And I think we are sort of like the examples of that, because there's so many posters, especially when you're young, that really have an effect on you, right? And it gets you excited about the movie. It reminds you of that feeling of watching the movie when it's done right.
Yeah.
You know, and so today's just an opportunity for us to talk about our favorites and those ones that we sat and stared at hour after hour as kids and adults even.
Yeah, absolutely. And they evoke an emotional response from you.
They do. They really do. Yeah. And that's what you want.
That's what you want. So yeah, we're going to be breaking down our top 5 on those. Before we get to that though, I just want to clear something up. For people that don't know, we pre-record these episodes oftentimes weeks in advance of them airing, so that what we're discussing isn't current affairs or news or sports, so it doesn't necessarily matter. There's no expiry date on these episodes.
Right.
The problem with that though is when things happen and you're not current with how you're reacting. So I'll give you the example of what made me feel bad. Was I've mentioned Robert Redford in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Post losing Robert Redford, but when I recorded them, Robert Redford was still with us, and I didn't comment on it. And of course I would have done if I'd known at that point. So just for people to, just wanted to put it out there that the reason no sort of rest in peace or anything was said is because it was recorded prior to Mr. Rupp's
Yeah, we just
passing.
wanted to be respectful of that.
We want to be respectful of that, and also point it out so that if it happens in the future, again, it's because we pre-record these episodes.
Sometimes weeks, sometimes minutes before we release them.
Yeah. Sometimes
Sometimes
how long the edit
seconds.
takes, doesn't it? It sometimes depends on how long the edit takes. And I'll be honest with you, I sometimes make the edit very difficult for Jeremy.
What do you mean?
Well, I promised not to talk about the Blair Witch Project today. I actually had to promise Jeremy this before we started recording, because I don't know if you know, but I saw the Blair Witch Project at the cinema in 1999. And people who've listened to this show know that I've told that story before. What they don't realize is I've actually told that story on about 17 of the 23 episodes. And it has to keep getting edited out because they're like, Ian, we already know that story. I don't know why I'm stuck on it like a record that's scratched.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good story.
But it's not repeatable 17 times though, is
Probably
it?
not. No.
So yeah, Blair Witch is not my top 5 favorite posters. In fact, I'm never going to mention it again.
That's going to be a challenge, I feel like.
That will be a challenge, yeah. But yeah, that is my promise to Jeremy. I will never bring it up again, I promise.
I mean, the irony is you saying you're not going to mention it again has meant you've mentioned it again. And here it is in yet another episode.
Yeah. I've got it in there. When we got out of the cinema, there was those little straw dolls on the window.
And cut. All right. Yeah. So that's it for the business today, right?
Yeah, let's jump cut.
Let's jump cut ahead.
Jump cut to favorite posters. You start. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. Drum roll. All right, I'm going to take you back to 1927.
1927?
Yeah, 1927. Okay. A movie called Metropolis.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Are you
pronounced
familiar
it
with
correctly.
this? No, I'm not. Oh, no. And right away, I'm trying to think of what that one's called. And I'm like,
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis. Thank you.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll never forget that.
I will say, okay, first of all, let me talk about the poster, and then I will mention Megalopolis for a brief moment here. So I think the only reason that this really is on my list, well, there's two reasons. Number one, I came across this when I was in film school. We actually studied this film, and it's pretty wild. It was interesting to refresh my memory of it, because I think what blows my mind, first of all, just to back up, I know I'm jumping all over here like a maniac, but Fritz Lang is the director of this, and he was like an Austrian filmmaker. But what blows my mind about this movie, and, reflected through the poster, is that this is in the early days of cinema, and the movie's pretty wild. It's like future set, science fiction, some really crazy ideas. The visuals are nuts, especially when you think of the time period that it was made in. It's like, even though the, let's call it, cinema movement is only like 25 years old at this point, I don't know, we're into some big ideas on film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, this poster looks very hand-drawn, and obviously it would be from that time period, but I'm actually calling this kind of my most haunting selection here. It's very kind of, this era is a bit creepy to me in terms of the like visual style of art and movies and all of that. And I mean, I found the film to be a tough watching it in college, but there's just something kind of, it evokes a very haunting sort of feel. It's quite striking if you have a look at it.
I just pulled it up. Yeah. That looks like that's 1927.
It's 1927.
That's
I know.
astonishing.
And this movie, like, look at some visuals from the movie if you get a chance. And it feels so ahead of its time for what I understand the time to be.
Is that Art Deco, the style?
Yeah, very Art Deco, which I had a bit of a penchant for a few years back. I wanted everything in my life to be Art Deco.
Yeah.
So there is something about that style that I find really compelling. And so there you go, Metropolis. Now, what I was going to mention is that in looking back at this, I did find some mixed takes on this, but it does seem like this may have influenced Megalopolis to some degree. There's actually some similarities in the storyline, or like the setup, the city setup in that to do with the story. It seems like there's some similarities. I don't know if anyone's got a take on that. I'd love to hear it, but
I wouldn't be surprised with Coppola, because he's a student in history of, he's a student of film, isn't he?
Yeah.
And fascinated by the history of it. Yeah, that I can't believe that's 1927. We should have probably mentioned this before. In fact, I'm not surprised Jeremy hasn't, because he's such a humble guy. But Jeremy is an artist. He's a phenomenal artist himself. And I can't draw a stick man. So you're going to see far more intelligent analysis on Jeremy's list than mine. But this poster, I'm just very proud that I knew that was Art Deco.
Yeah, good for you.
People should Google it, because it doesn't look 1927 at all.
No,
the font
it's pretty
is
wild.
Incredible. And it kind of, if you can imagine a scary looking C-3PO, that's kind of the figure on the poster.
Yeah, it's like a robot woman.
Like, but imagine C-3PO, but like for a really scary, creepy movie.
No, you're right.
And that's what it looks like. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, this film may be more influential than we realized.
Yeah, or the whole world knows this and just you and I are late to the party.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I did kind of forget about this film, but yeah, there it is. Very striking. This is basically an episode you have to listen to with a browser in front of you that you can look up.
I would imagine that we're painting pictures with words here, and people can just use their imaginations.
Yeah. Very sharp lines, crisp, points down to the center. Robot woman. There we go. All right, take me through your first choice.
Okay, my first choice are two posters, because I couldn't decide between the two. But the reason I've popped them together is because they are what I would call icon-driven.
Okay.
There are certain movie stars in the history of film where their presence dictates what the poster is going to look like.
Absolutely.
So the two posters I'm going to talk about are two different icons. The first is Bullet by Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the second is Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
Both of which, they don't look alike at all, but they use the icon that's starring in the film as the principal art.
Yep.
Steve McQueen's the first person on film to ever wear a shoulder holster as a cop. He's leaning on something and just looking super cool, Steve McQueen.
He's leaning on like the edge of the poster.
Yeah. And on Unforgiven, you've got this very black, very dark image of Clint, full height, back to camera, long black coat, Stetson.
Yeah.
I think both of those posters sum up the film.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of the film immediately.
Yeah.
And they use the fact that this is Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood. We don't have to get too fancy here
No.
in order to put across what the film's going to be and also to sell it.
Very simple.
And there's something about those icons. John Wayne was another one where they could just splash John Wayne on there. And oftentimes with these guys, I find it interesting how they advertise. And oftentimes with John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, and Steve McQueen in particular, their names would be in larger letters than the title of the movie. The font would be bigger, John Wayne in. And it speaks to that era of star-driven.
Yeah, really.
Really, because you wouldn't see that now, even with Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise, who are the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
Their names wouldn't be bigger than Mission Impossible title, for instance. It speaks to a bygone era.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And I also love McQueen. I love Eastwood. I love John Wayne. So there are plenty of those posters around my house in certain areas.
Very cool.
But Bullet and Unforgiven are probably my favorites.
Okay, awesome. I love those.
What you got next?
Okay, next I have Pulp Fiction.
Ooh, good poster.
Yeah, very cool poster. It's got like a comic book look to it. Got the little 10-cent price tag on it.
Yeah.
Right? Some nice fonts. It's a bit scratched up and dirty. But one of the things I find interesting about this is, this is not an image from the film.
No.
She's looking right to camera.
Yeah.
There's sort of a stylized feel to it in that like some of the elements feel fake. But it does capture the spirit of the film, that kind of that stylized, I don't know, almost kitschy kind of like, I'm not sure.
It's pulpy.
Yeah, it's pulpy. It's pulpy.
Yeah.
So now, in contrast to Unforgiven and Bullet that you just mentioned, there is so much text on the Pulp Fiction poster. It's got every name of everybody in the thing, plus, the credit block at the bottom, plus just all kinds of writing. They've even like highlighted the producer and like but it works because it looks like a comic book.
It does. It's a great. I seriously considered 2 Tarantino posters, and that was one of them. And I didn't actually put either of them on my final list. The other one being
what would have been the other one?
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, totally.
There's something about those two that you always wonder if it's the same designer, not because they look similar at all, but because they capture the essence of Tarantino so well.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
But they're fantastic posters.
Yeah, yeah.
But what beat out Reservoir Dogs for me was Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, okay.
It's such a good poster.
So cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's incredibly cool. And Jodie Foster's eyes, she's got stunning eyes. And and the creepiness of it. And it just captures... This is going to be like nothing else we've seen before, and I do think Silence of the Lambs was like nothing else we'd seen to that point.
Yeah,
with the one exception being Manhunter, Michael Mann's serial killer, which ironically is about the same people, set in the same world.
Oh,
it's the same writer, and Brian Cox plays Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter, and I actually think Manhunter's scarier. There's something about the way Michael Mann shot that. It's even more terror.
As opposed to the poster?
Yeah. The movie. Not many people saw Manhunter.
No.
Silence of the Lambs, they brought this kind of horror mainstream, and it won Oscars for everybody, didn't it, involved with it? Yeah. But that poster is... I haven't got that poster. I wouldn't have that up in my house because it would give me the shivers whenever I walk past it.
But it is beautiful.
It is beautiful. And when you've seen the film, you'll understand the iconography and realize that why they've got a moth over her mouth, and that makes it even creepier and all that sort of stuff. It's even got a scary name, that moth. It's like the terribly scary moth. But yeah, great poster. What you got next?
Very cool. Yeah. All right. And a couple of these are ones that I think I stared at for like hours and hours as a young person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've known that. My number one, that's the reason it's number one. It's not the best poster, but it's because it had the most staring at it.
Totally. Okay. So, So these are almost ranked in a staring, most stared at for me. Okay. But this one, to me, it's like most evokes a feeling is what I'm calling this one. And it's E.T.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, not as much the one with the fingers touching, but there's one that's just like blue night sky with trees,
the moon,
and the moon and the bike, right?
Yeah,
and that is just so atmospheric. Just I can just feel the movie. I can feel the time period.
It's the top of my stairs. That poster.
Okay. Yeah.
It's an absolutely astonishing piece of art.
Yeah, really
and
good.
It wasn't me that put it there. It was my wife. She adores it.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy to have a Spielberg poster up. Of course I am. But you know, that is gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
it really
just
is
a gorgeous image.
Yeah, which, it comes directly from the movie too, really.
Relevant.
Yeah. So, okay. Keep her rocking. What do you got?
Okay, this next one evokes the film brilliantly, but I'm actually picked it because of the tagline. I think it's the best tagline.
Oh, tagline, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm worried you might have this one. It's Alien.
I do not have it.
Poster. Okay.
I avoided it probably intentionally.
So you know the tagline I'm referring to?
Right.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
You know, the taglines, I often see a tagline and go, no, that's not the best tagline in the world.
Yeah.
Well, but that's a truly great tagline. And when you've got
really
that
is.
Green glow over the egg and you've got all that ooze and you like, there's no images of the cast on there.
No.
There's no image of the xenomorph on there. That's to come later films in the franchise. It just invokes this sense of, oh my word, what's this about?
Yes.
I remember seeing the VHS cover as a little boy in Blockbuster and going, it's an 18 certificate, but thinking, no, I've got to see that at some point. Mom's not going to let me right now. But we've got to, I really want to see this film, Alien.
You didn't think it was an Easter movie or anything?
No.
Just a nicely decorated egg?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's that green glow. It's like a green glow coming from behind the egg that's just
very mysterious.
Very mysterious and creepy.
Great choice.
Thanks, Jay.
And I love the tagline. All right, next one I have is, and I know I bring up this movie a lot, but I do want you to take a look at this poster, Contact.
I think I can visualize it.
I'm sure you can. I'm talking more to our audience.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I forgot we're recording a podcast here, aren't we? Not just having a lovely chat.
And I used to have this up like in the hallway outside my office. And so it was gigantic and you couldn't really step back from it. So I'd see it up close all the time. And I got to know like every speck of grain in this poster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something a little bit off about Jodie Foster's head maybe in this poster that's not true to real. I don't know. So there's definitely a bit of cut and paste to have made this happen. But I think it's quite lovely. A great tagline here, a message from deep space. Who will be the first to go? A journey to the heart of the universe.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's
it kind of gives away everything, actually.
I see. That falls down to that's not a great tagline to me. That's why I love In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream. It's just so simple.
Probably could have dropped the last line of that.
Yeah, they could.
Shorten that up. But Zemeckis likes
this is the one with all the
everything.
Big radar dishes behind McConaughey and Jodie Foster, right? Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful poster. So we both had one with Jodie Foster on.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Oh. Wow. Well, yeah, she was a megastar.
Yeah. I'd say she still is, Jay.
Still is. I know. Yeah. I know. She's great. All right. What else you got?
Okay, this is probably my actually favourite poster, but it's not my number one because it doesn't have the same emotional heft to me. So my number two is The Usual Suspects.
Oh, okay.
Extraordinarily famous poster. It's the lineup, the cop lineup, and legend has it that McHugh, who wrote the script for it, and it's a brilliant script. It's a brilliant, fun, wonderful 90s movie. The legend has it that the original idea came from the idea of having these 5 criminals in a lineup, and they actually plan a heist because the police have put them together in this lineup. Right. And that was the original kernel idea that set off the
Oh, that's cool.
The idea for the film itself. We don't have to worry about spoilers, right?
I don't think we do.
This is an old movie.
Yeah.
But I do remember in the 90s, vandals would spray paint across the poster. Which one of them is Kaiser Soze?
Really?
Yeah. So it became a real pop culture thing, the usual suspects.
Yeah,
and it holds up. I watched it about 6 months ago.
Okay.
And it holds up. It's great. It's just phenomenal. But
yeah, it is a great poster, though. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Black and white, shot of color with the text. Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, awesome.
So we on to your number one here?
Yeah, we're on to my number one. Drum roll, please. Okay. This is a movie, I think it was 2015. It's actually only a 31-minute movie, but it made a real mark on me.
Okay.
And it started out as, I'll tell you the title of the film so you can look it up while we're talking about it. It's called Kung Fury, which I think I've tried to get you to watch before. Crazy film. Just a crazy, crazy film. It really came about, is my understanding, as like a Kickstarter campaign. They were trying to make this film, I think for like $200,000. And it went absolutely bananas, and they ended up with like $600,000 or $700,000.
Okay.
And so they had all this money to blow on like special effects and everything else. And this is your absolute perfect Comic-Con type movie. And I think it was huge at Comic-Con for a while too. Here, I'll read you the tagline. I mean, it's sort of like a comedy, action, over the top kind of thing. So it takes a cop from the future to fight an enemy from the past. Basically, they try and tackle every cliche from the 80s, right? So it's set in Miami. You know, you've got this like rough talking cop like this, and he's got like the bandana and whatever else. And he basically goes back in time to fight Hitler, but I think he goes to like the wrong time period at first or something. And there's like dinosaurs, but his sidekick is a dude named Triceracop. And he's like a cop with a dinosaur head.
Okay.
I can't even explain to you. This film is
fun.
Absolutely nuts. It's very fun.
Is that Thor on there as well?
That is Thor. I think he goes to the wrong time period or something.
Okay.
Jorma Taccone, who is in like Hot Rod, I think he's a friend of Andy Samberg. The weird thing is this is like written and directed by a guy named David Sandberg. But this movie came out of like Sweden, and it just went crazy when it came out. You can check it out on YouTube, actually. If you just search Kung Fury, it's there.
Awesome.
And it's got a bazillion views. Anyway, there you go.
That was a lot of fun.
Cult classic.
That does look a lot of fun.
And I didn't even talk about the poster. The poster is like a hand-painted, stunning colors. It's got every important character from the story, and it completely captures the vibe of this film.
If I'd have just seen the poster, I'd have assumed it was made in the 80s.
Exactly. Now, when you watch the movie, you know it's like today because of some of the things they're doing. But they did try and make it look like it was a VHS tape. And there's like a critical moment where the tape like has a glitch. It's like they got past that. I actually bought this poster full size. I got it downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I really bought into this whole thing. I got sucked in.
You weren't the only one by the looks of it. You were not the only one. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, okay, hit me with your last one there.
Yeah, this is the most important movie poster of my life. It might not be the best, but it's the most important. That's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, yeah.
I got this poster in 1988 when I was 8.
Okay.
Obsessed with Indiana Jones. I'd watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom multiple times, and I knew Last Crusade was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And the poster arrives first, and I probably had it on the wall 6 months before the release in May of 89. And that 6 months felt like a decade to 9-year-old Ian.
Just staring at that poster.
So excited about this third installment to the Indy franchise.
Yeah.
So I've spent literally hours staring at that, trying to pick up any and every kind of little detail that I could.
Yeah.
Didn't know the term Easter eggs back then, but I was looking for them. And I actually remember the day I went to see it. I remember I was going to say multiplex. It wasn't, because it was one screen. Mm-hmm. One single screen in Solihull before the high street was pedestrianised for people who know the area.
Okay.
Tiny little theatre. Queued outside with my dad. Remember the weather. It was a sunny day. I remember the people in front of us. Bear in mind, I was 9. Wow. This is how important this moment is. I was like a can of hot tin roof. I couldn't stand still. I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got towards the front, I'm like thinking, is there going to be enough? Because you couldn't pre-assign tickets or pre-book tickets. It was you
just line up.
And, yeah. And it's my dad was very confident we'll be fine. You know, we were probably only 30 back, but I was worried.
I bet.
There's a lot more than 30 seats, but I was worried. And I'll never forget turning the corner and seeing the poster that had been on my wall, but now in massive, like one sheet.
Yeah.
And the couple in front of us, who were probably my dad's age at the time, the woman turned to the guy and said, I didn't know Sean Connery was in this film.
Oh.
And I got so mad. I'm like, how are you in front of us? I've been waiting for this for the last 18 months of my life. I know everything about this film. You're in front, you're going to get in before me, only by seconds.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know that Sean Connery's in it.
Jeez,
I felt like
the
that
nerve.
that should have relegated us to the back of the line.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where you just, how is that memory so vivid?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Crikey, more years than I kind of, 30 plus years, 35 years later, I still remember everything about it. I remember the weather and everything, and I absolutely adored every minute of it.
Yeah.
So that poster means a great deal to me.
So that poster was such a great like marketing tool. You just stared at it and grew more and more.
Yeah,
you know, the need
and then
to
went
see
back
it.
the following week, and then went back the following week, and went every week until its run ended. I absolutely adored it. And then when you look at the poster, I actually prefer Raiders of the Lost Ark's poster. If you just look at the poster art,
Yeah.
but the Last Crusade poster is by far and away the most important movie poster of my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just to clarify, are we talking about the one where it has like the 4 characters?
Yeah.
And the little frame kind of thing?
Yeah, that's the one. I also, yes, actually, should say this, fell in love with Alison Doody as well. That was my first crush.
No doubt, no doubt.
And they're not even photographs; they're drawn, aren't they? Pictures. But yeah, I remember that was my first crush, and I hadn't even seen her on screen yet, but it was from the poster.
Yeah.
Typically, in that is you stare at something long enough, you'll notice the blonde and fall in love.
Yeah, changed your life in so many ways, that poster. Yeah. But yeah, you just can't beat those beautiful hand-painted, hand-drawn posters. Just
and
love
even the hat they've got Sean Connery in lends, even to a 9-year-old, he isn't going to be playing a Bond type character, is he?
No.
You know, he looks professorial, he looks paternal, and you never really saw Connery like that before or after it. He's usually quite a tough guy, even in like The Untouchables the year before. He's playing a tough cop, you know. But that sort of, it's not a bucket hat, obviously, but it's a similar type of idea as a bucket hat. Makes him look quite grandfatherly.
Awesome. Do you remember what the tagline is on the poster? This is a skill testing question.
Oh, crikey. I didn't think there was one.
Maybe there wasn't. I don't know. The version I'm looking at right now has one, but who knows? This might be like a straight to video thing.
Just say it. Just start saying it.
This says, have the adventure of your life keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses. That's it.
Clever. No.
See, my one, actually, I do remember the tagline, and it was a different tagline. It was the man in the hat is back, and this time he's bringing his dad.
Okay.
That was what was on my poster back in 1989.
Yeah, this might be more of a straight to videos or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was definitely it. The man in the hat is back, and this time he's bringing his dad.
There you go. Cool. Yeah, amazing what a poster can do.
It is amazing what a poster can do, and why that's such a happy memory for me is because that level of expectation in a child is almost impossible to reach and meet. And yet Spielberg and Harrison and Sean Connery and Denham Elliott, John Rhys-Davies and Alison Doody and everybody involved with that, they did it. I did not walk out in any way, shape or form disappointed. It was amazing. And I went back and back and back and back. That's why I love it. It's no disappointments whatsoever. Just thrill a minute.
All right. Terrific. Thanks so much, Ian. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Jay. Take care.
Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.
Popcorn in Orbit is produced by the Shooting Eye and Ice River Pictures